founders, for the most part, seem to, at least speaking for myself here, I think founders go through roughly a 9-month cycle of founder failure that starts up, gets going, and then repeats itself over and over and over again. The cycle's pretty simple. I think most founders, when they start a company, they, if they're experienced and they know what they're doing, they start off doing a pretty good job, right? They've thought a lot about a given problem and what they're looking to do when they first start a business. And they spend about 3 months being pretty good at their job, right? They know what the responsibilities are, what the duties are. They've thought a lot about what needs to be done and what order it needs to be done in and all of that. So after this first initial 3 months of being pretty good at their job, if they are having any kind of success, there's getting, traction is developing, then usually the job changes in any kind of fast evolving situation, a situation with a lot of momentum behind it. I think after the first 3 months, the job generally changes. And often a founder, and this applies to many people in startups, I think anyone who's at an early stage company might, after the first 3 months of having a general sense of what needs to be done, after those first 3 months, they realize that the job has changed. And often they don't know how it's changed. They just know that the things that they were doing initially weren't working. So after the first 3 months of doing a pretty good job at their job, I think they spend another 3 months learning how their job has changed. And usually they learn that their job is changing and how their job is changing because old things aren't working anymore. They start failing. Maybe at first they were doing a lot of meetings, but then they realize they need to start implementing, and they can't be on all the meetings that they were on before and execute like they need to execute now that they have a sense of what needs to be done. So the second 3 months of this cycle is around learning how the job has changed and the nature of the differences that have emerged. And then I think the last 3 months of this 9-month cycle of founder failure is learning the new job and what it entails and what needs to be done to be successful in the new job, right? So creating the circumstances to being successful again. And then once they've learned what their new job is, the cycle starts all over again. So to summarize, I think the 3-month cycle of founder failure or the 3-month cycle of founder success, I guess that's a little bit more optimistic, is that there's 3 months at being okay at your job, 3 months learning that your job has changed, 3 months learning the new job, and then, of course, starting all over at being okay at your job again once you've learned what the new job is. And I'm certainly right now in the phase where I'm learning my new job. So I think I was I think I was doing a really great job for a while. Then hired more people, got more customers, got a lot more traction to the website, and realized that things have started to change. The things that worked when there wasn't as much traction in the business, or at least when there was less traction in the business, and once things have escalated, the pattern of being on meetings, interacting with the market, producing, how time is allocated, that's not working for me anymore. And so, slowly but surely, I think I've gotten less good at communication, less reliable interacting with employees, less reliable interacting with other people in the ecosystem, and things have started to fall apart. But luckily, I've been down this path before and scaled companies before, and I'm getting systems in place. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I've been kind of using this framework to explain to people in the company what's going on with me, and asking for their patience and their forgiveness, and telling them about the things that I'm implementing and the systems that I'm putting in place to prepare to be good at my job for, at the end of this roughly 3-month cycle that I'm on right now at learning my new job and getting systems in place for the new version of what my job is as founder and CEO of this company. And hopefully at the end of this, I'll be good at my job for 3 months. And hopefully as we continue to scale and grow and the things that I've implemented and that we've implemented at a business as this all works, hopefully I'll have at least 3 months of being highly competent. And if we grow and things develop, then I'll start this cycle all over again. But I was just telling someone today about how things are kind of falling apart with regards to me and my communication patterns and talking about this cycle, which I found to be pretty reliable. Sometimes it's 4 months, sometimes it's 2 months. There's lots of variation in here, but this general pattern I think is spot on, or at least it has been for me and a lot of other founders I've spoken to, or just anyone carrying a lot of weight and responsibility at a company as it scales, will find this pattern to be familiar. And I think it gives me and others hope that when things aren't going well, it's not that things aren't going well, but when things feel a little bit more chaotic in my work life, to just remember this overall pattern and how it develops. At my last company, Lead Pages, which became Drip, I was on this, roughly this pattern for about 3 years. And the reason I knew that it was time for me to no longer be CEO of the company, that I had no business running a 150 person plus company, is because I finally got to a place with this cycle where it stopped working. I went through multiple iterations of the cycle where I'd be good at my job. I'd realize the job has changed. I'd learn the new job and I'd start all over. And at some point I got to a place where I felt that I was no longer able to relearn my new job and start the cycle. It was just sort of the state of failure. And that was, when I went to the board and said, I think we should hire our COO to be our CEO, and that I shouldn't be running the company. And I think it's really, I think I made a great call. And the person who's CEO of the company now is doing a fantastic job. And I'd also like to say that, I hope at this company that I've been down this path before of scaling a business, and hopefully I'll be able to scale much further than I did last time, right? That I'll be able to go through this cycle a few more times, or perhaps several more times, before I say, wow, I no longer have the things in place, the groundwork in place to relearn, the new version of my job all over again. Anyway, that's today's Nomics update. I hope this has been helpful. Take care. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. If you liked this content, please help me out by leaving a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. It provides me with encouragement and it helps other people find the program. Also, if you have a question that you'd like me to answer on the podcast, go to asknomics.com, leave me a question, and I'll do my best to answer it in the next few days. Thanks for listening, and see you tomorrow.